All right, so we're diving into wealth building today. And, you've brought this really interesting source, Cómo hacerte rico sin buscar trabajo,
Yes.
which translates to how to get rich without looking for a job. That's quite a bold statement.
It is, isn't it?
I'm definitely curious to see what we uncover in this deep dive.
Well, I think what's really fascinating about this source is its emphasis on mindset.
Right.
Like it goes beyond the usual, here are the steps to take. It talks about building what it calls a prosperous mentality. So your external success is really just a reflection of what's going on inside.
Yeah, it's like laying the groundwork, right?
Yeah.
Before you can even think about building the house, you need that solid foundation.
Exactly. And the source really emphasizes that this isn't about get-rich-quick schemes.
No
Mhm.
magic here.
No magic wands.
Yeah.
It's about patience, discipline, consistent effort. It actually uses an interesting example, lottery winners.
Oh, okay.
It points out that a lot of lottery winners actually end up back where they started.
Because they win the money, but
Precisely, their mindset, their money blueprint, isn't equipped for that level of wealth.
money blueprint. I like that. Tell me more about that. What is that?
So it's basically the idea that we all have these ingrained beliefs and attitudes about money. And they're often shaped by, our childhood experiences. What were the messages we received about money growing up, for example? Was money a source of stress in your household? Or was it something that was discussed openly, managed responsibly?
Wow. I've never thought about it that way. I can definitely see how those early experiences would have a huge impact on how we view and interact with money, even as adults. So much of that is just subconscious, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's what the source calls our money blueprint. But here's the really interesting part. It suggests that we can actually reprogram our financial mindset.
Okay, now we're talking. How do we do that?
Well, it offers a few techniques, one of which is affirmations.
Okay, like I am a money magnet, that sort of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it actually provides 3 specific affirmations designed to kind of rewire those deep-seated beliefs about money.
Oh, this is getting good. Do you have them handy?
I do. The first one is, what I have learned about money up to now has not been true. From this day forward, I choose to adopt new ways of thinking about money.
Wow.
Okay.
What's the second one?
The way my family handles money is their issue, not mine. I decide how to act in this area.
I like that. It's taking control, taking ownership.
Hmm.
Okay, and the third affirmation?
The third one is, I free myself from negative experiences with money and build a rich future for myself.
Those are really powerful. But is it just wishful thinking or is there something more to it? Like, how do affirmations actually work?
Well, it's not just wishful thinking. There's actually a scientific basis for this, and it has to do with the amazing adaptability of our brains. It's called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
So our brains are constantly forming new connections based on our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences. And when we repeat these affirmations, we're essentially sending a message.
Rewiring those pathways.
Exactly. We're reinforcing those pathways
Hmm.
associated with more positive beliefs.
So it's like building a mental muscle. The more you use it, the stronger those new neural pathways become.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes not just thinking the affirmations, but writing them down, repeating them multiple times a day.
It's that conscious effort. So it sounds like it's about retraining your brain to embrace a more abundant and prosperous mindset. But how does that translate into everyday life? How does someone with this prosperous mentality approach financial decisions? That's what I'm really curious about.
That's a great question. And, the source really gets into this idea of contrasting what it calls the poor mentality with the rich mentality. And it's not about, like, how much money you have in your account right now.
Right.
It's more about your overall attitude, your approach to finances.
Yeah, got it, got it. Okay, so less about the numbers, more about the mindset. So tell me more about this poor mentality. What does that look like?
Well, it's characterized by, fear, scarcity.
Hmm.
Think about it. Constantly worrying about not having enough, always playing it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, maybe missing out on opportunities.
Yeah, it's very reactive, isn't it? Like always on the defensive.
Exactly. And then you contrast that with the rich mentality. This is about being proactive, seeing opportunity, having that abundance mindset, even in situations where other people might just see limitations.
So instead of shying away from those opportunities, someone with that rich mentality is going to like lean in, see the potential.
Exactly. They're not afraid to take calculated risks.
Yeah.
They invest in themselves. They have this belief that they can create wealth. It's a subtle shift.
Yeah, but it's powerful. I mean, it reminds me of that Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yes. It all comes down to belief.
It really does.
And here's where the source gets even more interesting. It challenges a very common stereotype about wealth. It actually states, from every 100 rich men, 98 are honest.
Whoa, hold on. Now that's a bold statement. Is it implying that integrity is like a prerequisite for building wealth?
I think so. I think the source is saying you can't build lasting wealth without integrity. Because, people need to trust you. They need to want to work with you. They need to want to invest in your vision.
Right. Trust is huge, especially when it comes to things like business and finance. If you have a reputation for being shady, it's going to be pretty hard to gain that trust.
Exactly. And that principle of trust, it applies to ourselves as well. If we want to achieve financial success, we need to trust our own judgment. We need to believe in our own abilities.
So it's not just about faking it till you make it. You have to actually cultivate that self-trust.
Absolutely. It's recognizing that those beliefs that we have about wealth, about success, those can either help us or they can hold us back.
It goes back to that money blueprint.
Exactly.
If those early messages were all about scarcity, it's no wonder we might have these feelings of unworthiness or self-sabotage when it comes to money.
And just as we internalize those messages early on, we can actively choose to challenge them, replace them with something that's more empowering.
So how do we do that? How do we start to reprogram those beliefs and actually cultivate a rich mentality?
Well, this is where it gets really practical. Because it's one thing to understand it, right? But then it's another to actually put it into practice.
Totally. So what are some actual steps that we can take to bridge that gap? So how do we bridge that gap? How do we go from understanding to actually taking action?
Well, the source really stresses that, building wealth, like real lasting wealth, it's not just about financial strategies. It's about personal transformation. Looking inward, understanding your beliefs, and then shaping your behavior around money.
So you're saying if you want to change your financial reality, you have to start by changing your internal world.
Exactly. And that's empowering because it means that we all have the power, right? No matter where we're starting from, we can actually change our financial circumstances.
Yeah, I like that. It's a message of possibility.
Yeah.
Because money conversations can be so negative, but this is about taking ownership. Like you're not powerless.
Absolutely. And, you cultivate that positive mindset. You see the potential for abundance, and then you take action, right? You're an active participant, not just along for the ride.
So for someone listening and they're maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, what would you say is the one key takeaway? Like what's one thing they can start doing today?
Well, the source makes this point, and it's a powerful one. Every thought we have, especially about money, is like planting a seed. And those thoughts, whether positive or negative, they're going to bear fruit.
Wow, I like that. So if you're constantly thinking about scarcity, that's what you're going to see in your life.
Exactly. But the good news is we can choose different thoughts, right? We can choose to plant seeds of abundance.
So be mindful of your thoughts. Choose to focus on the financial future you want.
Exactly.
It's about aligning your thoughts with your goals.
You got it. And you can start doing that right now. Just pay attention to those conversations you're having in your head about money. Are they filled with doubt and fear, or are they hopeful?
Yeah, it's subtle. But we've seen those small shifts can make huge changes.
Absolutely. And remember, small, consistent actions over time, that's what leads to big results.
So as you go about your day-to-day, start to really pay attention to those thoughts about money. Ask yourself, are these thoughts saving me? Are they aligned with the financial future that I want to create? And if not, choose a different story. Choose a story of abundance and possibility because your wealth journey, it all starts with your mindset.